Hello viewers and followers of National Drug Authority. My name is Abiaz, and today we are going into how we regulate the actual manufacturing of herbal medicine. And I'm happy to bring to you Solomon Onen, who manages our good manufacturing practices unit at National Drug Authority. Welcome to our episode of NDA reports.
Thank you very much, Abiaz. I am excited to share with you the perspective on the regulation of herbal medicines from the inspection perspective.
Solomon, what is good manufacturing practices?
So GMP is an acronym for Good Manufacturing Practices, and it is an international standard. They are there to ensure that whoever intends to manufacture any medicine must comply with a certain set of standards that guarantees that the quality of these medicines is maintained throughout the production process until the point at which the medicine is released for use to our clients, in this case, the patients. So in the pharma industry, we have a saying that goes, quality is not tested, but rather built into the product. And this means the idea of quality starts right from the time you get your raw materials, throughout processing, packaging, and finally release for distribution. So GMP ensures that throughout these processes, quality is maintained and built into the product.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, the sound of it, we are looking at the standards, and our focus is on herbal medicine. Why is NDA raising the bar for production of herbal medicine so high?
Thank you, Abiaz. I wish to provide us with two quick facts about herbal medicines. According to the World Health Organization, over 80% of populations in developing countries use herbal medicines. Statistics within Uganda put it at over 60% of the population uses herbal medicines. The second fact is that a good number or proportion of the current conventional medicines that we have derive their basis from herbal medicines. Herbal medicines can contribute to the discovery of new medicines, but can also be used in their form to treat ailments and improve the management of disease. All these point to the need for quality herbal medicines. We are seeing people going commercial with the manufacture and sale of herbal medicines. And so the risk, if we have poor quality medicines out there, is much higher. The risk calls for action, and this is a direct mandate of the National Drug Authority to ensure that the people out there access good quality medicines. Not only the conventional medicines, but also herbal medicines.
What are the things National Drug Authority looks into before they can allow me to start production of herbal medicine?
When it comes to herbal medicines, basically we apply two sets of standards. The first set of standards is what we call good agricultural practices. And the second is then what we call the good manufacturing practices. Under good agricultural practices, we want to ensure that, one, we are dealing with the right plant. And this means you need to have a scientifically based way of identifying this plant. You do not want to pick the wrong plant, process it, and have a medicine out of the wrong plant, because you could have picked a poisonous plant. The other things involve harvesting of the right parts of the plant. When you're harvesting your plants, you want to make sure that you pick only those plants. You do not pick other plants or weeds that could eventually contaminate your raw materials. And you also want to ensure that The part of the plant that contains the right amount of active ingredient is what you pick. So that must be documented and that must be followed through the harvesting process. Okay, so identification of the right kind of plant, the right variety, and this is what is looked at when we look at good agricultural practices. Secondly, you want to ensure that as the plant is growing, it is not affected by weeds. And even the kind of pesticides that you administer to protect these plants against weeds are those that are not hazardous to human beings. Okay, because we are aware that these will remain in the plant and may be residues that will appear in your final product after processing your herbal medicine. So after the good agricultural practice assessment, then we go into the good manufacturing practice assessment or inspection. During this, we assess, first of all, the premises that are used to manufacture these herbal medicines. Important that the premises are sanitary, first of all. You must have a ceiling, the kind of walls. Are they maintained in a clean state? Do you control pests and rodents in your premises? So all this forms what we call a suitability of premises for the manufacture of herbal medicines. This is one of the elements that we assess during the good manufacturing practice inspections. We further go ahead to look at the kind of equipment that you have. So equipment should be designed and suitable for manufacture. We do not want you to have equipment that would leach into your product. You might find other chemicals or heavy metals seeping from the equipment into your product, and then that would be a contaminant of your product. And storage of raw materials, in this case they could be the leaves or the stems of your plant, to how you process them, maybe mix them, extract your ingredients, to how you package, and to how you test your final product to ensure that it meets their requirements that you have set out to achieve. So all this forms what we call a suitability of premises for the manufacture of herbal medicines. So GMP is a very diverse set of standards, but with the prime goal of ensuring that quality is built throughout the manufacturing process and maintained until the point where you have your finished product.
Thank you so much, Dr. Onen. And from this, it seems to be, an interesting process that I have to go through as someone who is interested in herbal medicine, the manufacturing of herbal medicine. Does NDA have guidelines that one needs to follow to make sure I tick all these boxes?
Yes, thank you very much, Abiaz. We have guidelines that we have adopted from the various international players, such as the World Health Organization and the PICS, which is the Pharmaceutical Inspection and Convention Scheme. And so we have domesticated these guidelines into our own guidelines as National Drug Authority. And these are the guidelines that we use to assess our domestic herbal manufacturers as well as our foreign herbal manufacturers. The level of compliance is relatively quite low, and this forms a challenge for us as the regulator, because we want all the industry players to achieve a certain minimum standard of compliance with the set guidelines. And so this has called for a shift in our methods of work, and we do not do just policing of these herbal manufacturers, but we go the extra mile to support them in terms of technical expertise to ensure that they build their systems to a level that can enable them comply with the guidelines. And so this has called for a lot of interventions from us. We have undertaken capacity building trainings And so we organize workshops throughout the year to engage different domestic herbal manufacturers with regards to what are our expectations of them. And it's through these workshops and trainings that we support them to build their systems and to continuously improve with their standards of manufacture. In collaboration with other stakeholders, such as the Directorate of Industrial Training, we have come up with what we call curriculum for these herbal manufacturers. And this is some sort of training that if one undertakes, will build their competencies and technical skills in the manufacture of herbal medicines. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Onen. My last question is, what are the challenges that are on ground and beyond developing the curriculum? What do you think needs to be done? Because as National Drug Authority, we are not only looking at using a word policing, but also building the capacity.
Thank you, Abiaz. The herbal medicine sector comprises of the genuine players, but also the unscrupulous individuals. And these are individuals who sell you any sort of packaged concoction, claiming that it can treat, all sorts of diseases. So over the past few years, we have taken interest and analyzed some of these products and found that a good number of them are adulterated with potentially hazardous chemicals. And so this calls for a strict enforcement regime on such unscrupulous individuals. I'm glad to report that under the National Drug Authority, we have the Inspectorate Enforcement Arm, and this goes out to ensure that these unscrupulous individuals are weeded out, so that we remain with the genuine players only, and we can work with the genuine players to ensure they improve. This calls for collaborations, because as National Drug Authority, we cannot do this on our own. We need support from the media stakeholders to ensure that such adverts regarding such products do not run, thereby enticing of the public is curtailed. We also need other enforcement bodies on board, the police, the National Bureau of Standards, and all other stakeholders that can come in to ensure that we rid the society of these unscrupulous individuals. Secondly, the era of COVID has shown that herbal medicines can play a critical role in treatment of diseases, as you may have heard over the past few months. And so, as the National Drug Authority, we feel the need for hubs or centers that can incubate promising herbal medicines. And by incubate, I mean guide them through the development process. We are aware that development of medicines is a very expensive venture that requires a lot of financing, a lot of specialized equipment, and a lot of technical expertise. And so an innovation hub would seek to solve such challenges. These hubs could be linkages between universities that have highly skilled personnel and government-funded agencies such as the National Chemotherapeutics Laboratory, the Council for Science and Technology, and these can come together to support promising herbal medicines throughout the development process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Onen. This was deep, and for any one of us who is interested in investing into herbal medicine, I think the key thing is to know the guidelines that are in place for both good manufacturing and good agricultural practices, but also the wananchi, the person, the ordinary person who uses herbal medicine, to know why National Drug Authority actually raises the bar of herbal medicine, because it's a product that is going into our bodies that has a potential of treating a certain condition, and its safety is key. And like Dr. Onen mentioned from the start, each process is targeting quality of the product you chose, how you maintain that quality as you deal with the pests, quality of how your factory is set up, quality of the machines that you're going to use, the quality of the packaging, and indeed the quality of the product as it is in build. Thank you for watching National Drug Authority Insights. The reason we put this is to encourage those who are interested in investing in this field, but also to educate the public of why we do what we do. See you next time.